Hi, baby. Come on. It's playtime. Go into the light, Caroline. Come on, baby. In my journal, as I do every morning, and we were talking or writing about, Sunday is the day for slowing down, stabilizing our being, and thinking on purpose, feeling on purpose. And a lot of times, and on purpose for the week, right? This is for on purpose energy creation, for manifesting. We're going to think about what's happening this week, where we want our focus, how we want our focus, where are our beliefs with what's unfolding, and how can I make this better for me? So when I think about this process, something that tripped me up in the beginning was the letting go. I felt like I had already, sacrificed. She just went through that little green tunnel, and he tried and then realized he would not fit. I felt like I had already lost so much that the idea of giving up anything else felt insane. But I also didn't let myself understand, or couldn't fully get it, that the ideas of this isn't working out for me was what I could let go of. The idea of, I've never been able to get this right was an idea I could let go of. The idea of this has always been so hard for me was an idea I could let go of. And I could let go of that, and that would actually shift in relief versus more loss. And when we're in that space, when we're thinking about something in our life that we want to improve, a lot of times we're sort of at this stalemate where we're kind of holding things down, and one wrong move and the whole bottom will fall out. And so when you're considering a space that you want growth or improvement, or do you want to feel better about it, you want to be happier about it, if the idea of letting something go there makes you feel terrified, or like, oh God, I cannot let go. Like, if I let go of any of my grips on this control of this situation, we're all going to go down. If you're feeling like that, then I would definitely say spend a few days practicing your shadow work, asking yourself about these beliefs and your fears, where they've come from. How could they unfold differently? Not because they could have in the past, but because they can in the future. You have access to these other timelines. How would they have felt? What could you have done, if anything, even if thought form? Because again, if I'm letting go of a thought form that thinks I can't do it, I'm going to let go of the components that also stabilize that I can't do it. All of these things have thought form connections. And if you're able to sort of take yourself out of the personal experience and go back in as like data, okay, when I thought that and I felt that, that's what happened. And I thought that and I felt that, and that's what happened. I'm going to now think this. I'm going to tune my feeling self to feel better about it. And then I'm going to see what happens. And as you get better at this and better at this, you can take on more and more situations, more topics. But in the beginning, if letting go feels scary, look into some shadow work. Maybe consider some ego nourishment. I know the term ego death is pretty popular in our spiritual spaces, but as a person who is so upside down and codependent, I actually had to go through ego nourishment before I could ever consider like shushing the ego in a way of a death. And I also just believe that our ego is a very important part of our mental makeup. We don't want it to die. We want it to be fulfilled and working for us. It's like our arms and legs and eyes and ears. We wouldn't want to just pick or choose one or the other. We want them working in the best of their ability. My legs don't need the same things my eyes do, and my eyes don't need the same thing my kidneys do. But they all require a certain part of me and my attention, and or maybe not. But my breath, I'm still here. My kidneys are still pumping because I'm still here. Piggies. Piggies. No fighting, little piggies. Babies. dogs. I guess they're not really fighting. They're just like bucking their butts at each other. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, everybody can be chill. Yeah, they're so cute. So, on this Sunday, I will be thinking about how this week's going to unfold. My favorite place to be when I'm manifesting, especially something bigger, is I don't care. And not because I don't care, because God knows I care. I am the best caring person I have ever met when I want to be. But I don't care because I trust, I don't care because either way I'm good. I don't care because anytime something is sort of shifted, it's because I'm letting in something a little better. And usually I'm so happy that I'm not looking for more. So when it comes, it is a little surprising. And I'm going to just let it be a happy unfolding. I'm not going to worry. I'm going to let it be, wow, all these components are forming. I'm not going to be the one going against this creation. I want to go with the flow of all the good things happening, the highest timeline. Hi. Hi. She came right up to me to give me a little hello. Yak approves. Yak approves this manifestation. Hello. So I was just having a super exciting moment, and it had me realize how far I've come with this part of my inner healing journey, of my manifesting, creating journey, Once upon a time, when I was learning about our cycles and patterns and healing and, sort of getting things out of our experience to make space for new, it would be daunting to hear that I'm going to go through a similar situation again. I didn't want to hear that I was going to have to do it again, and I would resist it at times. Now, eventually I got more comfortable with the process because it's inevitable. And I realized that each time I move through the scenario that I've already done before, I'm able to do it with this now knowing, with this guidance, with these intuitive nudges, with this perspective. And I can sort of navigate it in a way that I come out better on the other side. And when we are thinking about how we are growing away from an experience that we are no longer wanting, that's how we shift. We don't just obliterate it from our experience. We vibrationally intertwine with it until it almost picks nothing up from our emotional feedback. It has to be so nonchalant to you before it can just blipple away. But a lot of things won't become nonchalant. And I guess, okay, maybe won't is a strange space. But as a person who's been doing this for 10 years, it seems, I guess I do feel a little more nonchalant than I used to. So when I think about things that would feel hard in the past, it would, I'm a single mom. And most of the time I had a small business, not as a financial leader in our household. So when it came time for me to provide and lead for myself and my own children when they were with me, which turned out to be almost always, it felt like I wasn't prepared. Now, when I'm in this experience and I'm leveling into new spaces where, oh God, am I going to be okay? I know what's happened in the past. I know how well I've got here. I know that each time I'm confident and listening to my support and following my guidance, it gets easier and easier and easier. So now I was just saying, as I am playing with this other loop that is still intertwined in my energy, and I am feeling very much on top of it. I feel like I timed it just right. I have no trepidation. If anything, it's just excitement, happy. It's just satisfaction. Even though this is not necessarily a loop that I want to entertain ever again, my position here feels fucking good, Feels like, wow, I kind of knew that would work out and I didn't know how, but wow, again. So as I said that, I was realizing and noticing in myself that when I am leveling through these
patterns that I don't want to do anymore. As I'm reacclimating me as this perspective present and the situation, me and me, me and me. And as it starts to blend and move through, there is this period of true satisfaction where you are just either so solid and so stable or just so comfortable in a place where you would squirm, and for me, that feeling, that shift is everything. I'm a very spiritual, very intuitive human. I've always been more science minded than metaphysical. And I think that the way that I found my stance here is through the science, through trying to Swiss cheese and debunk all of these things, only to find out that I was just wrong. I didn't want to let it be true for me. But now that I have, and now that I've practiced, I see what it gets to do. I see what it gets to do. So even when I'm coming into a situation like today where I had a little bit of nerves only because it was like, it feels like, you ever take out money, like cash money out of like a bank or an ATM, and you have to take it to another place. But for a moment, you have like this large sum of money in your hand going from one place to another. Most likely you're going to make it there. Nobody knows. You're the only one that's like, everybody knows something. I'm hiding something. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but any time. And so it kind of felt like that. It felt like for a moment I was like jiggling or juggling this large pile of money. And I knew it was going to be fine. But part of me was like, don't drop it. It's like, I knew it was good. But I'm also like, I want it to be good. I want to see it through good, So at the end, it was so much more satisfying than it has been before. Each time I've come, hey, good morning. Each time I've been in this loop, it has felt so defeated, so upside down, so like, oh God, please find me worthy of seeing it, okay? Please. And now it's like, oh no, I know I'm fine. And it was so fine. The timing of this, I think that's been my favorite seasoning, is the perfect timing. The high cardinal. So like, I'm having a big shift, a shift that could typically make me shit my pants, but I'm more excited than afraid. If anything, I am kind of like anticipating, I'm like, I know that nothing's gone wrong. I know that nothing that is meant for me could ever be missed by me. And as I've gone through this, again, now because this is my 10th year of doing this work, and trust me, I've been working the whole time, like every day, forever. And by work, I mean paying attention to what I'm thinking and feeling, because I know now that is so important. It's as important as the clothes that I put on to go into the world. It's as important as how well I care for myself, in the form of like my hygiene and my physical well-being and my, all of those parts are important, and so much so is your emotional body, so much so is your mental faculties, and letting yourself understand your invisible parts, your invisible self, and helping to regulate and satisfy and utilize all of that of you, which you probably haven't been doing consistently, because it's not something that we're kind of guided to do. And a conspiracy theorist could say the reasons why, blah, 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 blah. But maybe we just didn't know. It doesn't necessarily matter why so much. I mean, energetically speaking, humans really care about the why. Totally. But energetically speaking, why is... So when you're thinking about your energy, when you're thinking, I really would like this to be different, but I don't know how. I don't know how it could be. I really would like this to be different, but it's never been different. I really like this to be different, but I've been doing this for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or 50 years. I really want, but the first step is sometimes I really want this to be different and I have no idea how, but I at least want to believe that it can work out differently for me. I at least want to believe that there can be a way that I am okay through this. In the beginning, you don't go from fear and dread to unicorns and rainbows at your bunghole. That's not real. That vibrational move wouldn't land. It would bounce right off. It would seem like, oh, it's coming. It's like it just missed me. You know, that's what happens when we try to force ourselves into an interaction or a manifestation when we're not ready. We feel like we don't get it all the way. We feel like it's not what we wanted. Maybe we were wrong. You know, there are so many different ways that the universe is giving us feedback. The feedback of saying, slow down, take it easy, you're good. You don't have to force anything. If you're trying to force it, it's not ready. You get to be the one that lets it be undone, unfolded for you, delivered to you. You don't have to go out and hunt it down. If you're going out and hunting it down, you are not aligned and letting it flow. That's a different speed. You can do either one, but you're not going to get flow results from human action that is moving from fear and doubt. Those two things don't match. Those components won't match. The mind that knows it's going to work out for me attracts evidence that it will work out. The mind that believes it's hard will attract evidence that it will be hard. It's really as cut and dry as that. You and I are no more different or special or more deserving than another. It is all up to us to decide and anchor that belief in for ourselves and let ourselves get the feedback, get the evidence, and grow that and nurture that. And each one of us have that ability, and we could also not use it. Yeah, there's that. Have the best rest of this Sunday. If you have any questions about this or anything that I share ever, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to make it make sense for you too. See you later, Gator.